Welcome back to the finale of my Rule of Rose playthrough. And we wake to a thunderstorm. Our beloved dog is no more. And for some reason, Jennifer was a child in that scene. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do now. I guess take a look at the storybook. These things have guided us in the past. I really like the atmosphere with the rain and thunder. I wish the music wasn't there, though. I've said before I love the soundtrack, and I do like getting to hear this piece of music one last time, but at the same time, the thunder and rain do enough for the atmosphere. I don't think they needed the music. And we're going to get that thunder and rain for such a short amount of time before shit goes down. I think I wanted to show the cover again in case I didn't show it off well enough at the start. There's a healing item over there. If you don't have any healing items you can pick up from the inventory, I would highly recommend picking that up. There's another hallway you can go down and pick up a couple more healing items before going downstairs. So once we go out this door here, if you go straight across the hall, not the room that leads to the dorms.
Oh, really? Really? How tragic.
Okay. Weird. Olivia, what do you have to say for yourself? You cry a lot. Don't you understand yet? I can't stand crying. Okay. At least these stairs are open again. That made last chapter take forever.
Jennifer, over here.
And what reason do I have to trust you? But I guess we have no other choice, so through the door we go. Hopefully nothing bad is going to happen. After all that, they are still picking on her. Yet they're acting strangely courteous about it. This is kind of weird. There's another healing item. I highly recommend picking that up. Well, let's go see what the rest want.
Greetings. Princess, please forgive all that I've done.
Greetings, Princess Jennifer. Thank you very much for coming to our new aristocrat club.
Greetings, Princess Jennifer. From now on, you'll be our new princess.
Now, Princess, please think up a new game.
Please lead us. We are yours to command, Princess.
Princess, go ahead! Guide us! We need you! We don't know what to do! It's Wendy. It's Wendy.
What?
I wonder what Wendy's doing outside now, given the thrashing she took the last time we saw her. And it's weird, everybody went out there to see what she's doing. I guess we probably should go out there too. Again, the game is really dark. Again, a lot of this is due to the ROM. I hear a girl screaming. I guess we better take out our sword just in case something's going down. Hopefully it's just a kid's prank. And hopefully that prank is not one that went too far.
Once upon a time, there was a precious little girl.
Cue the Monday Night Football theme song again. It's time for the final boss, Stray Dog. We knew this was coming. Stray Dog kidnaps children. And Gregory Wilson turned out to be Stray Dog. And we already know what happened. We read an article about this already. So we know who's going to win the day. And you can get one of two endings, and no matter which one you get, the ending to this encounter is still the same. The difference is in how it plays out. For now, we're going to keep fighting. And actually, I'm not sure why there's a bad ending to this game. Because the end result is the same either way. I don't know why the end would change. I guess it just affects how Jennifer deals with her PTSD. Alright, and somehow Brown is back. Hooray! Always good to see him back. How dare you slap around a woman? Don't you know that it's not cool? Like all the other boss fights in this game, this one's kind of annoying. I don't feel like it's as bad as the other two. Unless we're counting the Goat Sisters as a boss, then that would be the least terrible of all four. At least there is a creative aspect to this boss, which you guys will see in a bit. Dude, I keep stabbing you with a sword. What part of that gives you the idea I want you to live? Just fall. I'm so glad I had iframes there. Brown, if you want to actually help out in this encounter, that would be great. Alright, well, we took him down. Let's go ahead and confront Joshua. Although I thought Joshua was dead. Because you wouldn't love me, I brought you here. Because you fell in love with Brown. Because you didn't realize it was me. I brought Stray Dog here. But please stop him with this. Only you and your beloved dog can stop him. I'm so sorry. And with that, Stray Dog claims his final victim. And we get his revolver. If you remember back in video 8, we saw Greg Wilson reciting a rhyme about peas, which actually was referencing children. And you can see this gun only has one bullet. He had this revolver pointed at his head, so it was obvious to Wendy and Jennifer that he wanted to off himself. That will be important here in a moment. Bro! We're just waiting for a trigger.
I'm sorry, Joshua.
That's it. What we gotta do is use the gun on him.
I'm sorry, Joshua. Yes.
And we wake up for the final chapter, the epilogue. And we are playing as Child Jennifer. We have one final storybook. Fortunately, this is just a picture book, so you can just look at it. I am going to give my thoughts on the story, but I am going to wait until after this next file we're going to get. Pretty much everything else in this chapter you're going to have to pause and read if you want to. I do recommend it. I just didn't want to take the time to do it because it would take too long. There are a number of things you can check in the orphanage. The orphanage is completely open to you now. And I miss a ton of stuff. Most importantly, a series of letters by Martha writing to the police. She was suspicious of Greg Wilson hanging out with Wendy and saw him acting like a dog, and things just looked off. And she complained to the cops, who ignored her. This is a series of letters that Jennifer received from Wendy. We saw the other set of letters back in video 8. And as you can tell reading this, she becomes more unhinged and more clingy. And once Jennifer found Brown, we get Wendy's reaction to Brown. Again, I will be talking about this here in a few minutes. Wendy, you were always so lonely. Poor lonely Wendy. I wonder if my letters ever reached you. And by reaching Wendy, I don't think she means if she received the letters or not. We will find out she definitely did receive them. I think she means on more of an emotional level. So after all the tragedy that's happened, Jennifer gets ready to leave this orphanage for the last time. This is the second time that she's the sole survivor of a tragedy. There's not much else to do except take one final moment to reflect on one's time here before leaving. So, near as I understand this story, and I will have to interrupt my explanation of it here in a moment. The opening cutscene, we see Jennifer as an adult. She sees something with kids playing in an airship that triggers a memory, and she takes a bus to this orphanage, which I feel safe in assuming is abandoned. I'm pretty sure what we're experiencing now is Jennifer as a kid after that event, before she left for good. But I could be wrong about that. And this talks about Meg and Diana, and I mentioned that before. These were children. I can't believe that this would be a lesbian thing, even though maybe that's what the developers were going for, but again, these are children, so it seems kind of messed up to insinuate certain things when they are, again, children. And that would go for anyone, being a boy and a girl and a boy, whatever. Jennifer goes to the orphanage, and that's when she starts reliving her past. She took an airship ride with her parents as a kid. That crashed. She was the sole survivor. Ugh, more Clara nonsense. This is just creepy. She is found by Greg Wilson, who sees her as his departed son. His son got some kind of illness and died. So he dresses her up as Joshua and keeps her locked in his basement. Wendy somehow sees her and eventually befriends her, and now we're about to get the letters that Wendy received from Jennifer. We've never seen letters from Jennifer to Wendy before. And Jennifer also has different thoughts on everything that you click on as well. There are some pretty good ones if you take the time to look at them. So naturally, Wendy saving Jennifer, those two realizing that Greg had lost his mind and taking his gun. Naturally, Jennifer was going to feel indebted to Wendy because she saved her life. And I think Wendy was so lonely, she just wanted somebody to be with, and she thought, well, if she found her Prince Charming or some equivalent, then she would never be alone again. And even realizing that Joshua was actually Jennifer, she just didn't care. She saw Jennifer as her prince and just wanted to be with her forever. And the idea of being lonely like that is really sad and something I think a lot of people experience today, to be honest. In fact, it's probably worse, what with technology being what it is and our society designed to keep people apart. But that's a whole other rant I could get into. So all was fine for a while, and then Jennifer found Brown. And as she played with Brown all the time, she started to pay attention to Wendy less and less, which seems a little bit strange considering Brown is a dog. I get kids are going to love dogs and want to play with them a lot, but it does seem a little weird that she would ignore her friend to play with the dog. You would think she would just have her friend play with the dog too, unless Wendy just didn't like Brown, which does seem about accurate. I believe she called him dirty at one point. So eventually, Wendy got jealous, got mad, created the Aristocrat Club. She was the Princess of the Rose, the leader of that club. This whole game, it seemed like Diana was the one in charge, but it was actually Wendy. And she created this club to bully Jennifer to coming back to her. And when that didn't work, she created the story of Stray Dog, which motivated the other students to kill Brown. I don't know if it was Wendy that did that or if it was the other students, but either way, somebody killed Brown. And of course, we got that scene at the end of last video where Jennifer found out. And once Wendy realized that Jennifer was never coming back to her and that she had permanently damaged that relationship, she wanted to scare Jennifer. So she took what she knew of Gregory's mental instability, dressed up as Joshua, pretended to be him. I'm sure he was drunk off his ass. And she trained him kind of like a dog. I'm guessing maybe that was just a game they played where he was a dog or something like that. I don't really know quite how that works. And her goal was to send Gregory to the orphanage to scare Jennifer. But what happened was, obviously, he came to the orphanage and killed everybody except Jennifer. Jennifer, realizing his suicidal tendencies, handed him the gun, and it had one bullet in it, and he realized what he had done and used it on himself. That's why he says, "Joshua, forgive me," at the end. Also, we saw those clothes on the ground. That's, I believe, a bit of Jennifer's memory still trying to shelter her from the horrific sight. Still showing that the kids are dead, but censoring it in her mind a little bit. I'm going to assume the staff was also killed, but I believe there's also files that I didn't get that suggest that Martha and Clara left too. I believe Hoffman left because Martha told him that if he didn't, she was going to report him for what he was doing to Clara. And Clara was getting old enough to help take care of everybody. But I believe Martha and Clara might have left. They might have escaped that carnage. Unfortunately, if that's the case, then Hoffman would have escaped too, and if anybody deserved to be killed, it's Hoffman. And it could be suggested that these kids aren't necessarily bad so much as they grew up in an abusive environment and coped the only way they could, mistreating each other. I would entertain that theory considering they are children. I would not entertain that theory with adults, though. There are a lot of adults that use past experiences to justify bad behavior, and I just cannot get on board with that at all. But with kids, it's possible. And again, Jennifer ended up being the lone survivor. I believe this is one of Hoffman's diaries as well. And the music during this chapter is perfect. This is really a situation where adults were put in charge of some children that needed them, and they let the children down. Gregory didn't start off as a bad person. He was a sad story. He lost his child and couldn't cope. And the society didn't help him either. And even when there were warning signs that something was wrong, nobody did anything. And I'm not sure where him kidnapping children and murdering them fits into that whole story. It's there somewhere, but I'm not sure where that fits in. Although if he had been doing that before his trip to the orphanage, that would make sense why he would be capable of such an act all at once. As I mentioned, I missed a lot going through this orphanage, and as you can tell, I found a lot of stuff. I missed the notes from the police to Martha, denying her request to investigate. I also missed a bucket night, which Jennifer mentions some of the boys used to play with, and the reason for that being the save point, she mentioned she always wished she had a knight to look after her. And one could ask the question, how does somebody move on after two events like that in their life when they're that young? Granted, this being the 1930s, it's not like people were going to live as long as they do now, but still. And especially during this time period when mental health wasn't really considered an issue. Hell, I don't believe until the last couple of years, mental illness was ever really considered something to really take seriously. There were, of course, exceptions. And this is where it all began. Where Brown was buried. I'm also curious how old Jennifer was when this went down. I don't know if the game ever explains that. And I'm also not sure what that light her and Brown were running into at the end represents. It's kind of weird to experience a place that you're used to being busy, full of life, and seeing it dead essentially. But now that Jennifer has reflected on her time here, there's really nothing else to do. It's time to leave this place for good. And hopefully, accepting her past, accepting everything that happened, she can move forward with her life. And we get one last memory of Wendy, who was her dear friend for a while. Unfortunately, her loneliness caused jealousy, and we get what happened. And this is why certain things like romance and whatnot really belong to adults only. Children just aren't emotionally developed enough to be able to handle things like that.
Jennifer, where are you going? Please, don't leave me.
And those are the last lines voiced in this game. So putting the past behind, it's time to head out of this orphanage for good. At least until she turns 19 and comes back. It's nice to see some light and be able to walk around in the day. This part actually reminds me a little bit of Silent Hill 2's beginning, except less creepy. And we're hearing a dog whining again. I don't believe I showed that off when we were heading to the orphanage at the start of the game. Apparently the sign does change. But before we check on that dog whining, we can come this way. I do love the color palette for this chapter. It feels very much in line with an epilogue. And this is a part that I do find confusing. And makes me wonder when some of this takes place. Or if this is just part of Jennifer's jumbled memories still. But if you come over here, there is Greg Wilson. Overall, he was just a sad person who didn't get the help he needed, and then he became a monster. Him being an adult, you cannot justify anything that he did. I can't imagine what it must be like to lose your son. But that still does not justify kidnapping and murdering children, nor going to the orphanage to murder a bunch of children. I'm sure getting drunk all the time didn't help him any. Really, all that does is help you avoid your problems or issues rather than facing them. And I say that as somebody who freely admits he's an alcoholic. I'm coming, jeez. And this is the other confusing part, which is the last thing in the game. If you remember this shed, we saw it way back at the start of the game. This is where we found Brown's dog collar, which was probably actually there. I could easily see where Jennifer went back and put it here. As we can see, Brown was also a lot younger than he appeared in the game. I don't know if that's where Jennifer found Brown or just where she kept him. And the last thing we need to do is a bit confusing. This took me a while to figure out. There's a bucket knight over here, and it will help us one last time. And you can read that if you want. I didn't bother. And of course, we've heard these 3 words put together enough in this game. I'll protect you. Forever, until I die. So, that's it. What a way to end 2023 for my channel. That's it. That's Rule of Rose. Another LP done. And as I do at the end of all my playthroughs, victory sip. Drinking some pecan praline whiskey, which I loved at first, but honestly, it's becoming too sweet for me now. Yeah, this was a game I have wanted to play for about 7 years now, ever since I saw a Let's Play of it. I only know that it's 7 years ago because I looked back at that LP and YouTube said that my comments I left were 7 years ago. But with the game's pricing costing around $250 for a battered copy to somewhere around $800 to even $1,000 for a mint copy, there was no way in hell I was going to play this game on my PlayStation. Plus, I've moved to emulators anyways. This game definitely has its flaws. There are definitely things I don't understand about it. But it's an experience I'm glad I had. As I mentioned before, it's one I wanted to play for a long time. It's probably one of the more tragic games I've LP'd, even though I guess in a way it's kind of hopeful in that it seems like Jennifer was learning to cope and deal with her PTSD and hopefully move on. But we really don't get any indication either way if she does or not. It just kind of seems like she does. It's a shame this game got labeled the way it did. A lot of countries banned it, claiming that it had events in it that never actually took place. But I'm glad it got released anyways, and I'm glad I got to play it. It does make me wish I had bought a copy or all the copies I could find back when it released though, because I would be in the money now. So thank you very much for watching. I don't know if this is going up before or after Christmas, but if it's before, then I hope you have a good Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. If not, then I hope you had a good Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And I wish you a good New Year and a good 2024. I have my LP schedule planned out for 2024. That, of course, could change, but we will see how that goes. I've got 2 re-records I want to do, plus 4 or 5 games that I've never done. And I'm going to try to break into some indies. It's weird saying that now for me because it's still August, I'm still on vacation, and I will have a few months to work on some of those projects. So we will see how that goes. Either way, that's it for this LP. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you're interested, I would highly recommend emulating this game and definitely giving it a shot for yourself. I do feel like you can get the general idea of a game, especially a game like this where the gameplay is bad, but sometimes there's something to be said for playing the game yourself to build more of a connection. I definitely experienced that myself. Well, like I said before, thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all in 2024 with whatever I choose to LP. Thanks for watching.